I know this is probably my third time posting about him, and honestly, typing this out is deeply embarrassing. It's been almost a year, 9 months, not 6, as I kept telling myself, since Ethan broke up with me. 9 months. That's almost a full pregnancy, and here I am, still talking about the guy I swore I'd be over in a month. Usually my emotional recovery timeline is pretty quick. A week, maybe 2, max. But with Ethan, I was fully, deeply, cringe-inducingly obsessed. For months, I was stuck in that maybe he'll come back cycle. It was a loop of delusion. I convinced myself that the only reason he ended things was because he needed to find himself, or maybe it was some kind of external pressure from his family or friends. I made up every excuse imaginable except the simple, painful truth. He just didn't want to be with me anymore. The moment I found out he had a new girlfriend, which was pretty soon after our breakup, I didn't even get angry. I just reset my mental timeline. I remember thinking, okay, fine, but when he breaks up with her, he'll come back to me. We were the real thing. It sounds so ridiculous now, but at the time, it felt like a perfectly logical plan. I was literally putting my entire life on pause. I was still living in our old apartment in Seattle, surrounded by ghosts, just waiting for a man who was out there, living his best life with someone else. My own life started to fall apart. I was missing deadlines at work, putting off applying for promotions I knew I deserved, and spending countless evenings just scrolling through our old photos, crying over a future that was never going to happen. It was a self-imposed prison of hope. Then, something shifted. It was around the 8-month mark. Maybe it was just sheer emotional exhaustion, but the delusional fog I'd been living in finally started to lift. I remember the exact moment. It was a Tuesday night, I was making tea, and the thought just hit me with startling clarity. He is not coming back. And you know what's crazy? That realization wasn't painful. It was a relief. It felt like a massive weight I didn't even know I was carrying just dissolved off my shoulders. I could breathe again. For all those months, I'd been clinging to the good memories. I romanticized our entire relationship, creating this highlight reel in my head where everything was perfect. But after that moment of clarity, I started forcing myself to remember how it really felt, especially towards the end. I remembered the constant, buzzing anxiety, the feeling of walking on eggshells all the time, terrified of saying or doing the wrong thing. I remembered that quiet, gnawing fear that I wasn't enough for him. What I had mistaken for passionate, complicated love was actually just pain. It was a constant state of unease. He's my ex for a reason. People separate for a reason. It wasn't some tragic romantic misunderstanding. He chose to leave because he genuinely wasn't meant to be in my future. And he wasn't happy. I wasn't happy. We were just pretending. And now that I'm not waiting for him anymore, my life has actually started moving forward. I finally applied for that promotion at work, and I got it. I started painting again, a hobby I completely dropped when we were together because he didn't really get it. I'm finding real peace, a quiet, stable, gentle emotion that I never once felt when I was with Ethan. This piece is mine. I built it. So, this is kind of an open letter to anyone out there who might be in the same position I was in. If you're reading this and you're still waiting for your ex to return, please, I am begging you, stop. You are pausing your precious, beautiful life for a fantasy. You're waiting for a character you've written, based on someone who has already moved on and is living their own reality, without you. When you miss them, I know it's tempting to forget all the things they did that made you unhappy. Your brain wants to protect you by only showing you the highlight reel. But you have to do yourself the huge, life-changing favor of remembering the anxiety. Remember the low-level hum of unhappiness, the feeling of not being chosen, the nights you cried yourself to sleep. Remember the reality, not the romance. You deserve a life defined by peace, not by the endless, exhausting cycle of waiting for pain disguised as love. True freedom doesn't come when your ex finally returns. It comes the moment you fully and completely accept that they never will. And you realize that's the best thing that could have ever happened to you. Your life deserves to be defined by the choices you make for your own peace and your own future, not by the desperate hope that someone else might eventually choose you. Choose yourself first. So, if you've had that moment, that realization that your ex isn't coming back and it was your victory, tell me about it. What was the very first thing you did to reclaim your life? Share your victory in the comments below. Let's celebrate our freedom together. Thanks for listening.